These are the feedback techniques, right? So what we are going to see today is go back in and selective repeat techniques, right? Now what are these go back in and selective repeat techniques? So what we do simply in go back in, suppose you just think of a simple scenario, right? What is the simple scenario? चलो सेंडर को 8 पैकेट सेंड करने हैं, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, कितने पैकेट सेंड करने हैं? 8 पैकेट सेंड करने हैं, राइट? सेंडर ने तो अपने साइड से एक एक पैकेट सेंड कर दिया, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, right? What happened at receiver end is due to problem in a network, due to mismatch in the speed or due to incorrect data, पैकेट 3 जो है वो रिसीव ही नहीं हुआ। 1 2 रिसीव हुआ, 4 5 6 7 रिसीव हो गए, लेकिन 3 रिसीव ही नहीं हुआ, right? Now whatever is been received by a receiver is going to send a acknowledgement back to the sender about it. So receiver ने 1 2 का एक भेजा, 3 का भेजा ही नहीं क्योंकि 3 रिसीव ही नहीं हुआ है, 4 5 6 का एक्नॉलेजमेंट भेजा, राइट? अब सेंडर क्या कर रहा है? सेंडर इज गोइंग टू चेक कि हाँ कौन सा एक्ट मुझे आया है। Now sender has not received the ACK for 3, right? So what is the task of sender now? So in the case of go back n, sender will be sending the packets again from number 3 till end. So sender क्या करेगा go back n में? Sender is going to send 3 4 5 6 7 8 again, right? रिसीवर क्या करेगा? रिसीवर को तो रिपीट हो जाएंगे ये पैकेट 4 5 6 वाले। सो रिसीवर क्या करेगा? जो ओरिजिनल रिसीव हुआ था उनको डिस्कार्ड करेगा, ये नए को रिसीव करेगा। सो दिस इज माय गो बैक इन। ऑफ कोर्स गो बैक इन में बैंडविड्थ बहुत वेस्ट हो जाती है, राइट? एंड दैट्स द रीजन वी हैव again one more technique, which is my selective repeat technique. So what happens in selective repeat is, suppose I miss a packet number 3. तो कैसे पता चला सेंडर को कि पैकेट नंबर 3 आया ही नहीं है? हमने पढ़ा है थियोरी में कि सेंडर ऑलवेज सेट्स अ टाइमर, राइट? और फिर टाइमर एक्सपायर होने तक वो एक्नॉलेजमेंट का वेट करता रहता है। अब बाकी सारे पैकेट्स का एक्नॉलेजमेंट आ गया है, किसका किसका आया एक्नॉलेजमेंट? 1 का आया, 2 का आया, 4 का आया, 5 का आया, 6 का आया, सबके एक्नॉलेजमेंट आया। किसका एक्नॉलेजमेंट नहीं आया? 3 का नहीं आया। सो इन अ सिलेक्टिव रिपीट, the sender has to select and resend or repeat whatever has not been received by receiver, correct? So it will be sending back only the packet 3 and it will not be sending all remaining packets. So this is a basic difference between go back in and selective repeat. Fine. So we will look for the codes now. So you can see here, first we will look for the go back in code, and then we will look for the selective repeat. Now before this, what we have to know is this is where we are going for the client server programming at first time, right? Here where we are going for the client server programming, right? So I want to make you know little about this Java socket programming. Now what is the socket programming? Right? See, client server programming is also called as a socket programming. Now what is a socket? Socket is a end point for the communication for two machines, right? Now currently I'm showing you the execution on same machine, right? अभी मैं single machine ही use कर रही हूँ, यहाँ पे ही execute करके दिखा रही हूँ. But these are the scenarios of the network, right? जो कुछ कंप्यूटर नेटवर्क सब्जेक्ट है, तो थिंग्स व्हाट वी आर लर्निंग इज इन द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ अ नेटवर्क, राइट? सो नेटवर्क पे क्या है? यू मस्ट हैव टू सिस्टम्स, राइट? सो two system में से one system is going to behave as a client and another system is going to behave as a server, and what we required for the communication purpose is a socket, right? So there is a socket programming provision in C, in C++, in Java, in Python. So all languages supports the socket programming, right? So what we have at a socket programming is, look at this diagram, right? So this is what is my Java class socket programming. In socket programming we have one program which behaves as a client, the another program which behaves as a server. So please remember, the server का meaning क्या होता है? The server is a one who serves, राइट. सो सर्वर हैज टू बी एक्टिव ऑल टाइम. जैसे आपका गूगल का सर्वर है, राइट. व्हाट वी डू एट अ क्लाइंट एंड, वी जस्ट टाइप अ query on a Google, right? So which will be received by a Google server. Whatever is my query, say I want to know the information about Graham Bell, right? So I will be typing who is Graham Bell, or what are the inventions of Graham Bell, right? Like this. So this is what I am querying to the server, and the server is going to process my request and is going to respond to my request. So it is going to, server is going to serve to my request, right? So server, look at the server, it says that open listens, right? So server is always open for listening. So this is how we do the programming for in Java for client server. So what we do, we open a socket, right? A server is going to bind itself to the socket, and it will be listening for the request from the client. So that's the reason we have said over here is listen, correct? So listen का meaning क्या है? A server is waiting for a client's request. You can have multiple clients who are requesting for a data to a server. So server must be always in the listening mode. The server has to be always in a listening mode, right? So what happens at the client end? Again, the client is also going to create an socket, and it will be connecting to the respective server, right? You must have seen we have MySQL servers, we have Apache server, correct? We have web servers, right? So we have different servers. So client must know to whom to get connected, and the client must send a request for the connection to the server. So over here, my client is asking a request, connection request to the server. So client will say connect, and server is going to say accept over here. Understood, all of you, this client server terminology? So till here it is just a handshaking, it's just a establishment of a communication between two entities, right? And after this, once this communication is established, or once this connection is established, there will be read and write from server to client and client to server, right? What we are doing, when I say write, I am writing to the server. When I say read, I'm reading from a server. This is what is happening at client end, right? When I am at a server end and I say read, what does it mean? I am reading from the client. And when I say write at the server end, it means that I'm writing to the client. Correct? So there will be a whole communication, right? So this is a network where we are establishing a communication, and for communication we need a help of a socket, and socket programming is available in all programming languages. Just the difference is there will be different APIs in different programming languages. Are you getting this? And once this communication is over, there will be a close. So what is this close? The close is going to say the end of the communication. So there will be the close from clients. So once all the clients closes to itself, the server can also close to itself. Understood? So this is what is my client server communication. Fine. So now we'll go back to the code again. Right. So what is first task? First task is to create a server, right? So how do we create a server? Now look at the program. The class name is simple, a class test server, right? So here I am creating a server. So I have printed it as a server, and I say that waiting for the connection, right? So what I'm doing here is, look here. So this is something new for us, right? What does it says? It says inet address dot get by name. और उसका पैरामीटर क्या दिया है मैंने? पैरामीटर मैंने लोकल होस्ट दिया हुआ है. Correct. So what I'm saying is I want to know the IP address of a given input parameter. So what is currently my input parameter is a local host. So I want to know the IP address of the host whose name is given. So I say that get by name. डायरेक्ट उसका IP address मुझे मिल जाता है which I am saving in this addr variable. Correct. And now I am creating a server socket. All of you are able to see this. This is my server socket. Now what does this server socket do? You can see here. What does this server socket do? Correct. So this server socket class can be used to create a server socket. This object is used to establish a communication with client. Understood all of you? What does this server socket do? Okay, let's move to the code again. So now I have created a server socket and then I am creating a end point of a communication, that is a socket. Correct. Now what does this socket do? A socket is simply an end point for a communication between the machines. Right? The socket class can be used to create a socket. Fine. So this is what my socket is doing. So the first method which am I supposed to know, the first part is I should know the IP address. If I know the host name, I will be taking the IP address of that particular host name by using a method which belongs to the class inet address. So I will be calling inet address dot get by name localhost. So I am getting a address, right? Then I have created a server socket with a port, right? And then I have created a socket for the endpoint communication. And after this, what am I doing? I am just calling the accept function. Now you must be surprised, you may all ask me, where is this bind and listen? Right? While showing the explanation at the server end, I have shown you this bind and listen. But then you all will ask me, where is this bind and listen? Right? So this bind and listen is there in your, this bind and listen is already there, right? Which is covered in your server socket class. करेक्ट. सो ये बाइंड और लिसन का जो फंक्शनलिटी है वो ये सर्वर सॉकेट के फंक्शनलिटी के अंदर ही है, राइट? सो इन जावा वी डोंट रिक्वायर सेपरेटली अ बाइंड एंड लिसन APIs as well. Correct. So we are bypassing those APIs and we are at a accept. Right. Now, what is written in the theory? It is open to listen. Correct. So what does the accept do? Accept क्या करता है? Once your socket is created, you are waiting. Listen का meaning क्या होता है? Listen is indefinite wait at a server end. Unless and until you get a connect from the client, you are indefinitely waiting at a server end. Are you getting this? Listen का meaning यही होता है कि you are indefinitely waiting. That's a blocking call. Please remember there is some concept which is called as a blocking and unblocking calls. So this listen is my blocking call. What does it mean? I am blocking my functionality at this place, and this will be unblock only on some condition. Now what is the condition here? Here the condition is I must receive a connect request from the client. Correct. And once I receive a connect request from the client, I will accept it and move ahead for serving to that particular request. Understood all of you? This is my server functionality. Now we'll move to the client code. Correct. Now what does this client code says? The client code, again we are doing same. We are getting the address by a host name. Now I'm doing a program for my local host, right? Because I'm implementing on the same machine. So it is the same workstation where you are working is always known as a local host. Correct. So I am taking the address from this particular localhost. Correct. And then what I'm doing, I am creating a socket which is called as a connection socket with the address and the same port where the source where the server has opened its socket. correct, where the server has established its server socket, the same port number I will be using over here for the socket, right? Now what am I doing? This socket has two functionalities. The first is to create a socket and the second is to send a request of connect to a server. तो ये जो कनेक्ट लिखा हुआ है ना ये वाले डायग्राम में, ये कनेक्ट जो लिखा है दैट इज अगेन इनबिल्ट इन द सॉकेट. सो यू कैन सी द कर्ली ब्रैकेट्स ओवर हियर. सो दिस टू फंक्शनलिटीज आर इनबिल्ट इन वन कॉल ओनली, राइट. तो यहाँ मैंने कनेक्ट बोल दिया तो सर्वर के एंड पे क्या होने वाला है? सर्वर के एंड पे एक्सेप्ट होने वाला है, राइट. सो नाउ सर्वर हैज एक्सेप्टेड द रिक्वेस्ट फ्रॉम द क्लाइंट, राइट. नाउ आफ्टर दिस अभी आपका कनेक्शन एस्टेब्लिश हो गया है. नाउ एवरीथिंग इज अ सेट, राइट. आफ्टर दिस माय एक्चुअल रीड राइट विल स्टार्ट, right. After this my actual read write will start. Now for reading writing on the socket we required a input stream buffer and a output stream buffer, right. So what we have is a buffered input stream and data output stream at a server end. So we need to create the objects for them as in and out. At the similar type, we have the buffered input stream and data output stream at the client end also. सो आपने देखा क्लाइंट पे एंड सर्वर पे दोनों जगह पे हमने ये बफर्ड इनपुट स्ट्रीम एंड डेटा आउटपुट स्ट्रीम क्रिएट किया है फॉर द कम्युनिकेशन बिटवीन दिस पर्टिकुलर सॉकेट, करेक्ट. क्योंकि आपने देखा होगा ये आपने किसके हेल्प से लिया हुआ है? connection dot get input stream and connection dot get output stream. So with the help of the socket we are creating this input stream and we are creating this output stream as well. See, you can see here with the help of a socket we are creating this input stream and output stream, right. So that particular socket, what is this socket? This socket is going to serve to this particular client which has been accepted by that socket, है ना. ss dot accept लिखा है ना मैंने, तो accept पे whatever is going to return to me that particular identity is stored in a client object. So this particular client object is going to serve to this client who has been accepted by this particular call. तो हो गए आपके create, right. Now you go back to the client again, right. अभी हमें data from the user also, so we have to create the scanner class object also, right. So here what am I saying is I am saying enter the number of frames to be requested to the server, करेक्ट. आपको सर्वर से डेटा चाहिए ना, सो से आई एम सेइंग कि मुझे 8 फ्रेम्स चाहिए सर्वर से, राइट. 8 नंबर ऑफ डेटा. दिस इज जस्ट अ सिमुलेशन, सो वी आर सेइंग वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग अ डेटा फ्रॉम द सर्वर, right, frames from the server. So that I have entered here. You can see that this has been written. You can see out dot write. क्या लिखा है? out dot write. out क्या है? out is your output data stream. कहाँ से मिला है? कनेक्शन के गेट आउटपुट स्ट्रीम से मिला है आपको आउट, राइट. सो आउट डॉट राइट एंड सी, तो कितने फ्रेम्स चाहिए वो आपने सर्वर को भेज दिया है. when I say here out dot write c, you can see at a server end पे क्या मुझे करना है? रीड करना है, राइट. सो I say that received request for sending frames. So what is this? int p in dot read, करेक्ट. सो गेट इनपुट स्ट्रीम से आप रीड कर रहे हो. आर यू गेटिंग दिस? सो यू आर रीडिंग फ्रॉम अ नेटवर्क. अंडरस्टूड? आई डिड आउट डॉट राइट, तो मैंने जो स्ट्रीम क्रिएट हुआ है आपके क्लाइंट एंड सर्वर पे उस पे मैंने राइट किया है. क्या राइट किया है? कि मुझे कितने फ्रेम चाहिए. नाउ इट इज गेटिंग पास थ्रू नेटवर्क लाइंस एंड रीच टू द सर्वर. सर्वर ने क्या किया है? रीड किया है, right. It has read and then it has stored it in the own variable, correct. In a similar manner, right, I am simulating this. So I am asking a user, do you want to generate a error wala case or non error wala case? नॉन एरर वाला केस के मतलब क्या है? वॉट एवर फ्रेम्स हैज बिन रिक्वेस्टेड हैज बिन received successfully at a server end and a positive acknowledgement is also sent back, right? So that acknowledgement is also received by a server. So that is my no error case. And there is a error case also where I missed few of the frames, so I will not be getting acknowledgement for that frame, and then it's my job to resend the frame as per the policy. Correct? I hope this is clear for all of you. So what the choice, whatever choice, error case choice or error scenario choice or non-error scenario choice, whatever choice is thought by a user has to be entered over here. So the choice has been entered by a user here. Correct? So that choice is equal to 0. Correct? So if choice is 0, it means there is no error. If choice is equal to 1, then there is a error case. अब देखो आप चॉइस भी सर्वर को राइट कर रहे हो, क्योंकि सर्वर एक्नॉलेजमेंट का देखने वाला है ना, रिसीव हुआ या नहीं हुआ. सो दिस इज अ सिमुलेशन विच वी आर डूइंग. सो आई एम राइटिंग दिस चॉइस टू सर्वर. सो हियर you can see I am reading that particular choice in a variable called PC. So PC is equal to in.read where I am reading the choice of the user. करेक्ट? फाइन. अभी यहाँ तक हमने क्या क्या किया है कि हमें कितने फ्रेम्स चाहिए और मुझे कौन सा सिनेरियो क्रिएट करना है, राइट? इसके बाद मैंने क्या करना है, इसके बाद आई हैव टू सेंड अ फ्रेम्स फ्रॉम द सर्वर, राइट? सो देखो सर्वर सेंडिंग. सो दिस पीसी इज इक्वल टू 0 इज माय नो एरर केस. Correct? This is my no error case. So what I am doing, I am sending the frames. करेक्ट? एंड आई एम वेटिंग फॉर द एक्नॉलेजमेंट. सेंडिंग फ्रेम का मीनिंग क्या है, यहाँ पे सिर्फ मैंने प्रिंट इलन किया है. व्हेन आई डू राइट दैट टाइम आई एम सेंडिंग दैट पर्टिकुलर फ्रेम. When I say write का meaning क्या है, वो frame I have written on the output stream. And at the receiver end, receiver कौन है, client है. तो client क्या कर रहा है, read in dot read, right? And then it says that receive frame number something, right? And then sending the acknowledgement for the frame number. So yes, it has sent the acknowledgement. Not only printing is not of useful, we are supposed to write that whatever we want to send, right? Here write is important, so I'm writing on the output stream. So I've written return it on the output stream. Correct? So this is what I'm doing, sending and receiving at both the ends, right? So I hope so I'm here waiting for the acknowledgement. When I say thread dot sleep, it means that I'm making my thread to sleep for some time. This is my timer, right? 7,000 milliseconds is my timer. I'm waiting for 7 seconds to receive an acknowledgement. And then I read from the read from the stream, network stream, and I say that I received the acknowledgement for that particular frame. Understood all of you? No error case of this go back n. This case is very easy. No error case is very easy. Now we'll move to the error case, right? So this else part is my error case, correct? This else part is my error case, right? And here also this is my error case. Correct? Now what I'm doing, again same functionality. Here I am writing the frames. Correct? अब मुझे scenarios create करना है. कि scenario क्या create करना है मुझे, कि I am with my own mean I am dropping one of the frame. तो error हो गया ना. Suppose मैंने एक कोई, जैसे मेरा sequence है 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, और out of this sequence if I don't send a number 3, it means that I have created the error, right? So with that mean I am creating a error over here, an error over here, right? So what I am doing here, with for loop 0 to p, correct? P is the number of frames which are required by a client. What I'm doing, for I is equal to 2, I am creating an error, right? Else I am sending the frame. How I am creating an error here? See, यहाँ पे मैंने क्या print किया है, sending frame number I. What I did write I. Write I का मतलब क्या है? Out dot write is I'm writing on output stream of a network which has been established with a given socket. right? I have written something on my output stream which is created for this particular socket for this client server programming, right? So like this I am writing and waiting for the acknowledgement. सिंपल जैसे नो एरर में था वैसे ही है, बट हियर आई एम सपोज टू इंट्रोड्यूस द एरर ऑल्सो. तो क्या कर रही हूँ मैं, तो व्हेन दिस आई इज इक्वल टू 2 आई एम ट्राइंग टू जनरेट एन एरर. सो मैं क्या बोल रही हूँ, सेंडिंग फ्रेम नंबर 2, बट हैव आई रिटर्न आउट डॉट राइट हियर, नो. जब तक मैं आउट डॉट राइट नहीं लिखती हूँ तब तक मेरा फ्रेम विल नॉट बी पास्ड ऑन द आउटपुट स्ट्रीम ऑफ अ सॉकेट which is created for this particular communication. So here I have not written out dot write, so it means that my data will not be returned. करेक्ट. इसका मीनिंग क्या हुआ, जो फ्रेम नंबर 2 था वो मेरा राइट ही नहीं हुआ स्ट्रीम पे. करेक्ट. नाउ विल गो टू द क्लाइंट एंड. क्लाइंट पे क्या हो रहा है, क्लाइंट पे जो भी फ्रेम मुझे रिसीव हो रहे आई एम सेंडिंग द एक्नॉलेजमेंट फॉर देम. करेक्ट. जो भी फ्रेम रिसीव हो रहे आई एम सेंडिंग द एक्नॉलेजमेंट फॉर देम, राइट. till what I'm doing that, this particular part is very important. I is equal to check. Correct. I क्या है, in dot read. So whatever I have received from the network stream that is been stored in this I. तो I में क्या store होने वाला है, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 like this will be stored in I. What is my check? Check is my internal variable which is set to 0 initially and then it is incremented with every loop. ठीक है. अब देखो, अब कंसिडर करो, सर्वर ने 1 भेजा, क्लाइंट ने 1 रिसीव किया, डज 1 इज इक्वल टू 1. सो इनिशियली 0 से है, राइट. तो सर्वर ने 0 भेजा, क्लाइंट ने 0 रिसीव किया, डज आई इज इक्वल टू चेक. आई 0 है, चेक भी 0 है, सो बोथ आर सेम. सो द फ्रेम इज रिसीव्ड सक्सेसफुली एंड देन इट विल सेंड द एक्नॉलेजमेंट. करेक्ट. नेक्स्ट इटरेशन में क्या हुआ, चेक इंक्रीमेंट हुआ, सर्वर ने भी क्या भेजेगा, अभी सर्वर 1 भेजेगा मुझे. सो डज 1 इज इक्वल टू 1, yes. So this is also a right case, so it will be sending the positive acknowledgement. Now check will be incremented to 2 and even the I will be incremented to 2 at a server end. Now go back to the server end, right. When I is equal to 2, क्या हो रहा है सर्वर पे, server it just printed on the screen that sending a frame number 2, but has it done the out dot write for that particular frame. सर्वर ने आउट डॉट राइट नहीं किया है उस पर्टिकुलर फ्रेम के लिए. देख रहे हो ना आप, यहाँ पे आउट डॉट राइट इज नॉट डन बाय अ सर्वर. सो व्हाट डज इट मीन, ये 2 तो राइट ही नहीं हुआ ना क्लाइंट को. करेक्ट. तो क्लाइंट ऐसे ही वेट किया, ऐसे ही वेट करते रहा. अब नेक्स्ट इटरेशन में क्या हो जाएगा, आई विल बी इंक्रीमेंटेड एट अ सर्वर एंड. तो आई का वैल्यू क्या हो जाएगा, 3 हो जाएगा. Once I is 3, it will again say sending a frame number 3 and out dot write 3. करेक्ट. तो यहाँ आके क्या हो जाएगा, I is equal to in dot read. तो now I will become 3, right. I will become 3. But what was the value of check? The check has remained same at 2. रिमेंबर, क्योंकि 2 तो मिला ही नहीं था आपको, तो आपका ये फॉर लूप आगे नहीं गया है क्लाइंट साइड का. Why we are doing all this is we are simulating the scenario. एक्चुअल तो सिनेरियो में हम जा नहीं सकते ना, नेटवर्क में कब एरर आए हमें मालूम नहीं है, राइट. सो वी आर ट्राइंग टू generate the scenario, we are trying to depict the scenario, right, and that's the reason we are doing this by ourselves. तो चेक तो 2 पे ही रहा है, चेक का वेरिएबल, और आई तो अभी 3 हुआ. सो आई एंड चेक मिसमैच हुआ, right. So we will come back here and then we say that discarded the frame number, right. क्योंकि मुझे जब भी मिसमैच हुआ मुझे डिस्कार्ड करना है and I have to send a negative acknowledgement for same. So what I am doing here, I am doing out dot write -1. अभी तक मैं क्या लिख रही थी, अभी तक आई एम सेंडिंग द एक्नॉलेजमेंट ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर फ्रेम, जैसे 0 का 0, 1 का 1, 2 का 2. टिल नाउ आई एम सेंडिंग द पॉजिटिव एक्नॉलेजमेंट फॉर द रिसीव्ड फ्रेम. Now once I get that no frame is received or there is some mismatch in the frame sequence number, I will be sending a negative ACK, and that a negative ACK is with -1. करेक्ट. नाउ गो बैक टू द रिसीवर एंड सर्वर एंड. यहाँ देखो, यहाँ पे आप एक्नॉलेजमेंट, यू आर रीडिंग एवरी एक्नॉलेजमेंट विच हैज बीन रिसीव्ड, तो यू आर चेकिंग व्हाट इज द नंबर ऑफ एक्नॉलेजमेंट, राइट. सो यहाँ पे वेन एवर दैट नंबर इज नॉट इक्वल टू 255, I say that received the acknowledgement successfully. Correct? I received the acknowledgement successfully and I set a flag as true for that particular frame number. But whenever I received this as 255, or here you can see -1 आपने पास किया है, तो रिसीवर एंड पे क्या रिसीव होने वाला है, -1 इज रिसीव्ड एज 255. प्लीज रिमेंबर -1 कैसे रिसीव होता है, 255. Correct. So whenever I get a 255, I am not setting this value as a true, right. And then what I'm doing here is I am checking again for all received frames, for all received acknowledgement, is anything goes as a false. False का मीनिंग क्या है, I have received a negative ACK. See, false का meaning क्या है, suppose there is false, it means that A is equal to 255. 255 का meaning क्या है, -1. क्लाइंट ने -1 भेजा है. -1 कब भेजता है, जब देर इज अ निगेटिव एक्नॉलेजमेंट, right. So whenever this particular flag is equal to false, it means that I have received a negative acknowledgement. करेक्ट. अब निगेटिव एक्नॉलेजमेंट मिला है तो मुझे क्या करना है, आई हैव टू रीसेंड द फ्रेम्स फ्रॉम दैट मोमेंट. I have to resend the frames again from that moment, all the frames from that moment. Understood? So this is how I simulate a go back in code. This is how I do a go back in. I hope this is clear with all of you. Okay. So now what we have to do is we have to see the execution of this. Correct? We have to see the execution of this. So just give me a second. So for that, I will be opening a command prompt. I've already installed a JDK on my system. So if you can see here, I am able to see the Java C, correct? So the things has been already installed. Now we are supposed to do a client server. So I need two command prompts here. So this is my first command prompt, and then I will go for the second command prompt, correct? So two commands prompt, and one is used for the client, another is used for the server. Fine. So we'll go to the folder where we have go back in, correct. So let's go to this go back in code. So cd insert, then I have to type. Similarly on the other command prompt also I will do, correct. Now the next part is Java C, say test client dot Java. So this is compiled successfully. In a similar manner, I will do test server dot Java. So oh, I'm so sorry, Java C test server dot Java. Correct. So both client and server has been compiled successfully. Now the first part is there must be the server always listening to the request for the client. So we first execute the server. Always remember this, in any of the code we have to execute the server first, right. So I will be doing Java test server, right. So what I have received server and waiting for the connection, right. At a client end, what I will do, I will run this client code. Yes. So client has saying connect, Correct. What is my machine is localhost and it is having the loopback address as 127.0.0.1, and this is my client. So what I did, connect, and then I say enter the number of, see here you can see after this connect, received a request for sending frames, right? So immediately once the client is connected, the server is going to serve for this client. So enter the number of frames to be requested to the server, say 8 frames, right? Now which type of transaction you should go for? Now currently the in initial case I will go for no error, right? So this is my no error. So you see here, sending a frame number 0, received frame number 0, right? Sending the acknowledgement for it, then sending frame number 1, received frame number 1, sending the acknowledgement for 1, and then receive the acknowledgement for frame number 1 as 1. Now sending frame number 2, right? So like this you can see both are in sync. One is sending the frame, another is receiving the frame. Then the one who received the frame sends back the acknowledgement, and then the one who sent the frame receives the acknowledgement, right? And even the numbers are also matching. So this is my positive case, right? So how many frames I have given? I have given 8 frames, so it will be going till 8 frames. Fine. So this is over. My server is as my server side is done and my client side is also done. Now we'll go for the error case. So again, I will run the server. So this is my server which has been executed, and now I will execute the client. Now say again, I want to send 8 frames, but now I want to go for the error case. So I have typed the scenario as 1. Now look here very carefully. What I have said, sending the acknowledgement for frame number 0, receive frame, sending acknowledgement like this. Look at this now. 2 we have seen in the code that we have not sent anything for 2. So यहाँ पे मैंने बोला है sending frame number 2. यहाँ पे receive हुआ है क्या? नहीं. जब मुझे फ्रेम नंबर 2 रिसीव नहीं होता है और फ्रेम नंबर 3 रिसीव होता है, सो आई डिस्कार्ड दैट पर्टिकुलर फ्रेम. यू कैन सी हियर आई एम डिस्कार्डिंग दिस फ्रेम्स. Now whatever the point where I miss the acknowledgement, miss the frame, from there onwards I discard all those frames. So I'm sending the negative act for all of them. Correct. So I've discarded, and then I will go till 8, whatever has been decided, the window size. It is a window size, right? And once that window size is over, again I'm resending the frame 2. You can see here, resending the frame 2, resending the frame 3. So I will be resending all the frames from where the frame has been missed out. So is this clear to all of you? I hope this particular go back in is clear with every one of you. So now my server side is quitted, and my client side is also quitted, right? So this particular part is go back in is